It goes without saying that if you work in the helping professions as a coach, a therapist, a mind-body practitioner, being able to keep your cool is an essential skill. But it goes a little bit further than that. Because if you're able to regulate yourself effectively, given all of the crazy, chaotic things that may be going on in the world around you, it not only makes you a better practitioner, it makes you a better person in real life, day-to-day, walking around with friends, family, bumping into people in the community. Knowing how to organize yourself effectively in the face of big, challenging situations can go a long way. So, what do you do when you don't know what to do? When someone is talking about something that really brings up a sense of anxiety within you, what do you do then? Say someone is talking to you about an addiction, a traumatic injury, an assault, some horrible bit of heartbreak or loss, some death they've experienced. What do you do then when everything in you is going? This practice, I think, can go a long way for you. So in order to make the most of it, you're going to want something firm to sit on. And that could be a chair, a stool, a bench, whatever the case is. But when you've found that firm thing, take a couple of moments and notice where it is that you clearly sense contact with that supporting surface. Now, if it's not apparent to you right away, you might rock yourself a little bit forward, a little back, a little to one side and to the other. And what you're essentially doing is mapping out where it is that you have contact, again, with that supporting surface underneath of you. Now, what you'll likely find is that your sit bones, these bony prominences at the base of the pelvis, they have the clearest contact with that support. Now, it might take a little bit of time to find them, depending on how you habitually sit. They might not be as apparent. Some of us have a little more flesh underneath than others. It's all good, right? So simply rock yourself a little bit here and there until you feel that you've got a fairly solid connection to that support. Now, in this position, you are really well situated to handle a lot more of the burden of being. What I mean is that in this position, you are in a little more clear sense of connection to your intrinsic skeletal support. The actual force of gravity is probably taking less of a toll on you in this position. Now, from here, this might seem a little mystical. I apologize if that's the case, but who knows? If it works, it works. So what I mean is that when a client is telling me something that I, as an individual, have no freaking clue what to do with, and I get that sense of anxiety creeping in, I'll direct my attention downwards. I'll notice where it is that I sense a clear contact with that supporting surface beneath me. And even more than that, I'll notice the connection to the earth beneath that source of contact. And I make a bit of a deal with myself. I, as Chandler, I might not know what to do with this particular thing. But it's a pretty safe bet that the earth has seen something like this before. That in the entire evolutionary history of our species, we've been through this and worse, in all likelihood. So when a client is presenting something challenging to me, I don't have to hold that all on my own. What I can do, if I have this sense of skeletal support available to me, I can send that down. And I truly do, when I'm working with a client, I will think of sending it to the earth and listening for what kind of signal comes in response. Again, that may strike you as a bit mystical, it may strike you as a little bit woo-woo, but when we have this sense of skeletal support, we are more available to perceive, we're more available to think clearly, we're more available to bring to bear all of the resources that we have developed over the course of our history. So if you're struggling to hold space for someone, if a client is bringing some challenge that really evokes a sense of anxiety in you, or if a friend has brought some really awful news, some horrible situation they're dealing with that, again, you don't quite know what to do, I would encourage you not to let anxiety take control. In that moment, you have a choice. When you hear that difficult thing, you can find your sense of connection, find your sit bones, and attend to that sense of support. Think of catching whatever that thing is and send it down to the earth. The earth, I promise you, has seen this and worse before. So even if you don't know what to do, there may be something available that perhaps you hadn't quite realized yet before. So if you can attend to that source of support, you can breathe a little bit more effectively, you may then surprise yourself at what comes out of your mouth next. Not only that, you may help that other person regulate themselves much more effectively as well. Again, as social animals, we rely on this process of co-regulation to keep our cool moment to moment. In every social situation, something in us is constantly looking around, scanning, to get a sense of whether we're in a threatening situation or not. So if you, as a practitioner, or you as the therapist, you as just a friend, a loved one, if you're able to hold whatever that person brings, send it down, and to keep your cool as you do so, it makes you much more effective as a helping relationship for that person. Because in that state, all you are is receptive to what they're bringing. You're not clouding it up and mucking it up with your own internal anxiety. So, at the very least, I would encourage you to try this out. Have a go of it. And after you do so, drop a comment down below and let us know what you think. How did that go for you?